Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2025 and a lot has changed over the last year. And it is that time again where it's time for us to talk about the pros and cons of moving to San Antonio. Has anything changed on our list from last year? We're going to find out. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too, man. This is going to be a good one.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hey guys, before we get started, make sure you click that like and subscribe button. It helps other people who are looking for this kind of content find it. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, guys, the first pro that we're going to talk about today, one that we have really begun to see change in San Antonio, and I think a lot of people are happy about it, is the health and wellness scene in San Antonio really is starting to change.
Without a doubt. Now, you guys know, if you've been following sports, if you've been following anything, that San Antonio tends to get a lot of hate as being one of the most overweight and inactive cities in the entire country.
In fact, I think in one of our last pros and cons videos, one of the cons was that San Antonio is not known as a very healthy and active city, but we really have started to see that change with new businesses, yoga studios and gyms and different places to eat with healthy options. It's really been cool to see.
One thing I've seen a lot of up and coming groups and organizations like run clubs, even yoga in the park. So a lot of these, not even businesses, they're just organization and groups of people who like to collectively get together, work out, exercise, get fit. I've seen a alarming increasing amount in those organizations over the last year or two, and it's really been nice to see.
Now, if you're coming from a city like San Diego, Austin, or places in Florida,
Colorado,
you know, you're like, well, what's the big deal? There are a lot of fit people in some of these other major cities around the country, but San Antonio just has not been known for that. So for those of us who like to stay in shape and like to exercise, being able to, I guess, enjoy that with other people has been a really good sight for us.
Without a doubt. All right, so I get to be the bad guy today. I'm going to come at you guys with the cons. So the first con we're going to discuss today is the public transportation in San Antonio, or lack thereof. So San Antonio ranks a whopping 45 out of 50 when it comes to public transportation systems in major US cities, and for good reason. Via Metropolitan Transit offers some affordable options, right? A monthly pass which costs only $38. But if you look at places like New York, for example, a monthly subway pass is going to cost you $127. But ultimately, the affordability of that doesn't really make up for the limitations that system has. See, routes often don't cover suburban areas as effectively, and buses run less frequently outside of the peak hours. Now, that being said, the city does have plans for improvement through its Via Reimagined initiative, which includes expanding services and adding bus rapid transition lines. But honestly, those projects are years away from completion, and I think we kind of know how construction goes here in San Antonio. It doesn't always go as fast as we would like it to.
Yeah, and you know, San Antonio, I think just for I don't know, maybe from the beginning was just never really set up like some of these other, cities that a lot of their infrastructure, a lot of the things where people want to go are like located right downtown. I mean, we're really spread out.
Absolutely.
You know, and so we're just not set up for that sort of public transportation. As much as we try, it's just not there.
No, not yet, but hopefully soon that'll be fixed.
Okay, guys, back to the pros, and this is one that I love. If you guys have been around our channel for a while, you know that my family loves to be outdoors. So one of the biggest pros, again, for San Antonio is that we have some very accessible outdoor activities and places to go. Now, aside from just your regular parks and playgrounds, we are just surrounded by so much natural beauty. We have state parks, we have Government Canyon's natural area here in San Antonio. And if you guys watched one of our last videos this summer, I'll put a link up here. South Padre Island is just a few hours away, and it is awesome. So if you are coming from another city or another state and you're worried about if there are things to do outside in the summer or in the winter, you do not have to fear. San Antonio's got you.
Let's not forget about New Braunfels in the tubing, and also Enchanted Rock State Park, which is only about an hour and a half away. So even the surrounding areas immediately outside of San Antonio, those are still going to be rich with activities and just opportunities for you to get your family outside, get off from behind the screen, go enjoy yourselves.
And our family recently just started doing a lot more fishing. We bought fishing poles this last summer, and we have found so many hidden gems, so many places to go and cast our line. So there's all sorts of things to do outdoors here near San Antonio.
His family's caught a lot, but he hasn't actually caught anything yet. I wanted to say that earlier, but I'm like, God dang it, he didn't let me get it in. All right, guys, let's swing back the other direction and talk about a con. There is a outstanding lacking of major sports teams here in San Antonio. If you know anything about San Antonio, you'll understand that we have a undivided, uninterrupted loyalty to our San Antonio Spurs, right? And with good reason. We are the best team in the NBA, or were at one point anyway. But if you're a fan of any other major league sport like baseball, hockey, football, any other major league sport like that, you're kind of going to be out of luck. Now, the closest NFL action is going to be the Houston Texans or the Dallas Cowboys, and to be honest with you, both of those are at least a 3-hour drive away. So you will have to travel if you want to go to any of those things. And if you like baseball, you're looking at Texas Rangers games or even Houston Astros games. And again, same situation, it's still a 3-hour drive. Now, San Antonio does have the San Antonio FC, which is a professional soccer team with the USL Championship. And they also have minor league teams like the San Antonio Missions if you're into baseball, which is still fun to go to. However, the lack of major diversity in the major league sports can leave a lot of the hardcore fans for like NFL and Major League Baseball just wanting more. Now, there's been tons of efforts to try to attract an NFL team to come to San Antonio. At one point, I think we were looking at trying to bring the Raiders here, but nothing has really been finalized yet, so there's not a whole lot in the works for that.
Now, Bexar County has approved funding, I believe partial funding at least, for a new Major League Baseball stadium that's going to be built downtown. Yes. Now, this project is planned to cost somewhere around $160 million, and I don't know when they're actually going to start breaking ground, but fingers crossed we're going to get a Major League Baseball team here in San Antonio sometime in the future. Downtown, if you've ever been to San Diego and you're able to go to a Padres game downtown, it is amazing. It would be great if we're able to do something like that here in town. So we'll see.
We'll see, man.
Okay, here is a major pro for San Antonio. San Antonio is rapidly becoming one of the hottest places to be if you are in tech. Recently, San Antonio was named the fastest growing tech hub in the US by salary. Tech professionals here in San Antonio can expect to be paid roughly $112,000 a year starting out. That is pretty amazing, especially when Austin right now seems to be getting all the credit when it comes to people moving to Texas and wanting to get into tech.
That's for sure. You definitely associate tech with a trendy and kind of popular city like Austin. That's what brings a lot of people to that region.
No, you are absolutely right. San Antonio's educational institutions, especially the University of Texas at San Antonio, or UTSA, they're playing a pivotal role in this growth with programs focused on cybersecurity, AI, data science. It is absolutely insane what's happening here in San Antonio, and it seems like this is really going to be the place to be in the future.
All right, guys, let's hit a con again, a negative. Now, we've discussed this in the previous video, but this is something we absolutely have to harp on because it affects so many people here. Allergies. San Antonio is ranked the 5th worst city in the entire United States when it comes to allergies, according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
Now, this is almost a con that I would be shocked if you don't find this con on every single person's video, every single person's pros and cons video of San Antonio. You will always have allergies as a con. It sucks.
It's a pretty big con, I won't lie. See, the city's warm climate and the tons of cedar trees surrounding the area mean allergy season feels like, well, it's not really a season. It's more like just lasts the entire year, for sure. You can ask this guy, he's actually going through it right now.
I've been wiping my eyes for like the last 2 months because they're just constantly burning.
I thought he was just happy to see me, but that's my bad, I guess. Now, during these cold winter months, they call it cedar fever, which is basically caused by mountain cedar pollen, and spring adds oak ragweed into the mix, and when you combine all those things, it makes for a really bad concoction. Now, I don't need to go down the list and explain what allergy symptoms are, but if you haven't had them, what I have heard is that if you decide to move to San Antonio, understand that you will very likely experience them at some point during your stay here.
All right, guys, another pro that is just near and dear to my heart, and that is the military community here in San Antonio. San Antonio, known as Military City USA, offers unparalleled resources, mentorship programs, and community events that are tailored specifically for veterans and military families. And we have really taken part in a lot of these programs and events since we've lived here in San Antonio over the last 13, 14 years. So if you are moving to San Antonio, you're a veteran or you're connected to the military in some way, this place really can and will feel like home for you. Now, Trevor, you're from San Antonio and you recently just had a brother joined the military, and he did not have to go very far from home to go to boot camp, did he?
No, he did not. One of the things is if you do plan on joining the Air Force, you're going to be stationed right here, at least initially during basic military training, and in some cases your A school for a good duration of your stint. So for instance, my family, my brother, he just went out. He went and graduated basic military training. It was an 8-week program, and honestly, he only had to travel 10 miles to the south to get on the base. It's pretty impressive.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right, another con. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the infrastructure struggling to keep up with that growth. San Antonio's population growth has been incredible. On average, we've been seeing about 2.4% year over year when it comes to population growth of San Antonio, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. However, the infrastructure is still catching up. The Loop 1604 expansion project and other multi-year construction projects aim to address the congestion, but to be honest with you, a lot of the people who live here still feel like we get bottlenecked at every intersection with construction projects happening. And especially newer suburbs, if you're looking around areas like Cibolo or even Schertz. And some of these issues have to do with incomplete roadways and even limited nearby amenities. The city's SA Tomorrow multimodal transportation plan is actually working to improve these issues, but the timeline for completion of these projects is, again, like most construction projects in San Antonio, they're a ways out.
And one of the things that we're starting to see, particularly with our clients who we're helping purchase homes, and just people in general are starting to even move further and further away from the city.
For sure.
Right? We do know that the far west side of San Antonio has seen just major expansion, but people are moving beyond that out to Castroville, Hondo. We recently sold some land or helped a family purchase land up in Hondo near Bandera. So people are just starting to move further and further away. Now, it's not necessarily because they're trying to escape traffic. I don't think we're quite that bad, but it just goes to show that this area is growing and it's expanding just a ton.
And let's be honest, when you're that close to the hill country, once you dip your toes in, you kind of just want to jump in completely. So I can't say I blame them for moving out that direction.
Okay guys, and the last pro that I have, and this one just kind of came up because of a family that we're helping purchase a home right now in San Antonio. And that is, San Antonio has a very close-knit expat community. What do I mean by that? Those who are moving to San Antonio that are originally from another country find themselves in San Antonio to feel very comfortable. We do have a very diverse population. Recently, we just helped the family purchase a home here in San Antonio who originally are from Mexico, but they've lived a lot of years in Virginia. Once they came to San Antonio and really got to experience the culture, they felt right at home. There is just something about San Antonio that allows people to feel very comfortable and free, and they just tend to meet people who speak their language, whether it's German, Spanish. We have a lot of Middle Easterners here in San Antonio, and people just feel very comfortable here.
It's a truly diverse city, even though you might not think of that initially when San Antonio comes up in your head, but believe it or not, it is actually very diverse and honestly very friendly. We've had other people visiting from all over around the country, and they always say, man, people are so friendly here, especially if you're moving here from up north or California. I hate to say the C word, but California. A lot of these people are like, man, everybody's so friendly here. You're like waving on the road. And I'm not saying this is perfect, right? Obviously, you still have people who are rude everywhere. It's still a city, but it's just a little sweeter and easier to live in sometimes.
Now, as diverse and friendly as San Antonio is known to be, there's still a con to that, right?
Unfortunately, there is.
Yes, what is that con?
It's crime, guys. Okay, we mentioned this in our first video that we ever did together, and honestly, it's a topic that a lot of people tend to avoid, but it's very important, especially if you're relocating your family here to San Antonio from anywhere. One of your main concerns is safe location to live. With good reason, to be honest with you. All right, so I'll be honest with you, crime in San Antonio is higher than the national average, with city experiencing 37 crimes per 1,000 residents compared to the national average of 22 per 1,000 residents. Now, property crime is going to be the most prevalent crime, and this is going to be like vehicle burglaries, theft, things like that. Now, that's about a 1 in 20 chance of still being a victim, but violent crime, which is much less common, is still a concern with a 1 in 113 chance of being a victim.
Now, from our experience, you all know that Trevor and I are both former law enforcement officers here in San Antonio. we definitely took our fair share of property crime reports.
Yeah,
right?
without a doubt. Vehicle burglaries are pretty common, but a lot of it is going to be located at like retail stores and strip malls, things like that.
Or certain areas of town that we wouldn't direct you to necessarily purchase a home in anyway.
So yeah, absolutely. It does vary greatly depending on the neighborhood that you decide to go into. So for instance, Helotes and areas like Alamo Ranch, Stone Oak, they tend to have a lot lower crime rates, but if you look at areas like downtown and other older urban areas, they still see higher incidences. So San Antonio Police Department has implemented lots of community policing initiatives along with crime prevention programs, which have shown some promise in improving public safety in certain areas. But again, guys, cities have crime. It doesn't matter where you go, you can't avoid it. There's no such thing as a perfect city, but it's important that you at least stay informed. We aren't the kind of guys who are going to sugarcoat anything, and we're going to be very transparent and honest with you. And that's something that's very important, as it would be important to myself or you if we were moving to a different city. So you absolutely need to know that.
All right, guys, those are the pros and cons of San Antonio in 2025. Hey, did you watch last year's pros and cons? Let us know in the comments if anything on the list has changed, or what are your pros and cons of San Antonio? If you know anything about the city, we'd like to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Drop them in that comment section below. And guys, if you plan on moving to San Antonio, if you're planning on relocating your family, please give us a call. It doesn't matter if you're moving in a month, in a week, in a day. Give us a call. We would love to help you with that opportunity to get your family here as smoothly and safely as possible. So that number popping up on the screen, give it a call. That website coming up on the screen, make sure you go check it out. It's your one-stop shop to everything that you need to know about living in San Antonio altogether. So guys, once again, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching our stuff. Catch you in the next one. Damn, that was good.
Oh, there's one.
That was really good.